Hello, guys. Welcome to World Without Borders episode 28. Oh my God, I can't believe we have gone this far with our faithful listeners. Thank you for your comment, your like, and I see some people are sharing. We are really grateful. We saw the views really increase. We see our listeners from all over. Oh my God, I'm so happy to know that we get some people are really listening to this podcast and also your feedback, your comments, guys go straight to our heart. Today we are here with two beautiful hosts that are here to talk with us through a specific topic. And first of all, let's start by presenting our wonderful host. Megan, please, can you go ahead and present yourself?
Thank you, Suzy. Hi, everyone. Good to be with you today. I'm Megan from Cape Town, South Africa. And yeah, Suzy's got a juicy topic lined up for us for today. Looking forward to it. And please don't stop chatting to us. Don't stop following our channel. And certainly don't stop sharing what we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What about you, Renata?
Hello, everyone. My name is Renata Anderson. I'm originally from Brazil and I live today in Portland, Oregon, in the US.
Thank you so much, guys. And without wasting time, let's go into the very special topic of today. We know about a lot about CEOs, but we want to talk about the invisible CEO, how the culture leads when no one is watching, because it is very important to address that, because we think CEOs are always under the loop, they're always like being watched. Every single step of a CEO has to be watched, but there is so much more to it. And I use this paradox all the time that CEOs are like dirks. They, you see the dirk on in the river, they are just like as if they are just swimming in with ease and just enjoying the ride. Why, if you look under, the little legs are paddling like crazy, trying to survive. That is exactly how a CEO is. So we want to talk about that invisible CEO. And the question I have for my wonderful host is how does culture guide a behavior when one is not watching? Like, what do you think is the behavior of a CEO when people are not watching? I'll go with Megan, you're a CEO yourself, so you can tell us more. And even Renata. So first of all, before they come on board, I want to make sure to let you know that each and everyone in the host in this podcast is a CEO of either an NGO or their own company they are running for profit and a non-profit. So we'll listen to the perspective of CEOs themselves. Megan, on to you.
Thanks, Suzy. Yeah, I think it's a really important topic today, and I think for me as a person heading up two organizations, it's really important to really know why you're there, why you're doing what you do, and to lead accordingly. Because you are the example, you're the person that starts up the organization, and you are putting things in place brick by brick, piece by piece, and it's really important for you as the leader of that organization to know your place, because, like everybody else, you've got a place in that space. So, to know your place, know where this is going, and know how you want to see it rolling out, because it's important for you to have that vision so that you can actually guide the process going forward. So, I think that is a really key role of the CEOs that most people forget about on the day to day. They think that the CEO is there to oversee everything and make sure that the sales happen today and that marketing's doing what they're doing. But I think most importantly, it's there to guide the entire ship forward, and in a way that actually makes you proud. So from my perspective, that's the importance of that CEO.
Thank you so much. What about you, Renata? We love to have your input on this.
I think it depends on the size of the company for sure. Big CEOs, I think they are there to show the north. I think to bring the team and say, okay, how do we stay in the focus of what we envision for the company, whatever the goals are. I think it's because it's a lot of distractions inside, And I think the most important thing is even with like distractions, like I come from the health care system, hospitals, NGOs, working with. So coming with, I think the most important thing from a CEO, from my perspective, is always remember the mission, because everything else, can come back to the mission. I think that this is a way inside the companies that we are always going to be. Because sometimes it's like, oh, we are going this way. No, 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 come this way again. So I mean, that's how I envision a good CEO. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And as you said, as a CEO, it's very easy for you to be derailed by the direction in which you're going to, because as soon as you involve people, people have a different way of thinking. And so everybody comes with their input. And if you are not like anchor on that previous mission, what is my vision? What is the bigger picture? If you're not anchor on that, you easily go to the north while you were intending to go to the south, and trying to be specific in what you're doing. So it's very important. And also, when you're leading an NGO, an organization with different cultures, being a CEO becomes so much difficult, because the way the CEO behaves in Cameroon is not the same way a CEO behaves in the US. I had this experience last time where, in the US, most CEOs are very kind. Most of them, they are kind and simple. They talk about simplicity. And you don't see that in Cameroon. Like, very rare will you see a simple CEO, CEO that's just, he's a leader, but he leads in simplicity. And you're like, there is no way for you to relate with a CEO in Cameroon, first of all. Like, here, you can easily meet CEO and they're very nice people, and you're like, I can't believe this is a CEO. But it makes you like act differently, because you're nice here, but in Cameroon, if you're nice, they will want to come on your head and be the CEO instead of you being CEO. So you know how to address those different cultures is a little bit complicated. But we want to talk about what are your struggle as a CEO, because most of the time people think being a CEO is a relaxing position. Being an owner of a business, when I'll be an owner of a business, we have the same. When I'll be an owner of a business, my life will go smooth. I will start stressing for no reason. As a CEO, that's a big lie. They didn't tell you that you are the one that do all the extra hours. You see the extra hours you were running from your job. As a CEO, you do all the extra hours. You see yourself working 3 days straight without breaks, and you're like, I need a break for myself. You don't do that as a CEO a lot. So please, Megan, tell me, like, what are the struggles that you have when you become a CEO? This invisible struggle that people don't really see.
Susie, I think from my perspective right now, so I've got a for-profit business running for the last 5 years, and then I've got our NPC, our non-profit that has been very recently registered within the last few months. And so, from my perspective, in the newer organization, it's about getting things on track. It's actually starting this business and getting it moving, right? And right now, I have two directors by my side who are not based in Cape Town, where I'm based. So I'm the 24/7 hands on person running all of this with their input and assistance, of course. But I'm the person on the ground, and I'm the only person for the moment. So the difficulty often comes in these organizations where you don't have the manpower, you don't yet have the capital to be able to hire staff. You don't necessarily have the ability to draw in volunteers into your space if you are a non-profit. And so, yeah, the hours are long. You've got to focus on getting it on track, getting it moving, getting things in place, making sure your compliance is there, and everything else is moving in the direction you need it. But you still need to be, focused and holding on to your vision, which is, it can be difficult because there's so many things that you need to take care of in an hour, in a day, that, yeah, it's difficult to stay on track. But I think the challenging thing here is to prioritize, like, where do we need to go just for today? What do I need to focus on and get that done? And tomorrow we get up and we go, what do we focus on today? And we move. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing for the last 6 months since the second business has come on board. So, yeah, it's been interesting.
Thank you for sharing those skills. What about you, Renata? What are some of the difficulty or challenges you faced as a CEO?
I think in some way is to put different experience in practice and put in practice a dream. So I always worked for someone else, and so 2 years ago I decided to build my own business, and it's been a learning process. I cannot see difficulty on that, but a learning process. I've been learning a lot about, especially about myself, about what do I want. As it's my company, so I can build what the way I want. So this is very interesting. Then the second question is, what is the way I want? And so I think it is a learning process because it's so easy in some way have the goals that the company, the organization gives to you. When you have to create your own goals, it's more satisfying too, but for sure it's a learning process.
Yeah, I love the way you put it. It's a learning process. I think personally, when I wasn't a CEO, I was complaining a lot. I was like, "Oh, you could do better, you could do this better." But soon since I became a CEO, I it kind of shut down my mouth a little bit because I was like, "Oh my God, this there's a lot of work when you're dealing with people."
Yeah,
Something I didn't know. Like I read leadership books, but I promise I didn't know. You don't know a lot of things until you're there, you know?
yeah,
And you had to deal with these different people. Now you're people are expecting from you. And I was like, they expect too much from me. I'm just the CEO, but you are the CEO. You are the vision bearer, so they have to
Yeah,
expect it from you. So
yes,
I stood at the place of where I was just an employee, and I was expecting this for my CEO, and I was like, human being expect too much from you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I started putting that perspective in like, it's not easy to be a CEO. It's not
yeah,
easy at all, especially CEO that have people under. Like people like they have this expectation high up on the sky for you, from you, and you're like, I don't even expect that much for myself, guys. Like
yeah.
you guys should
Some
just
days.
yeah, you
yeah,
guys just calm down. And it becomes so complicated because I think the challenge I face is that it challenges me every day. Like when I think I have mastered something, I have a new version of it, and I'm like, please, guys, I know I'm working with human beings, and you guys have a new version of yourself coming every day. But please, we need to try to be stable, have a stable mindset someplace because I need stabilities. So from those challenges helped me grow. Like I love what Renata said. It helped me discover myself. I did not know which boundary I had in terms of this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do. But when you step in such a position, you really stress out your boundaries into certain level, and you're like, I'm so amazed. I could write a book. I'm so amazed. I could lead this movement in this number of country. I'm so amazed. I can speak to people and they listen. I didn't know I had that skills. I'm so amazed. I can tell people what to do and they actually do it. Because as a CEO, I don't know if you guys have this issue and I want us to talk about it. Micromanaging was one of a virus that I had. Is because when you start a business, you want to know what everybody is doing and where they are doing it. Like I was in everybody's business, and every time I was like, okay, country coordinator, what are we doing? Tell me every single detail. I want to know who is doing what and what and what and what. And so with that, I remember I had so much sleepless night that I become a bitter person. Not
Yeah,
because I am bitter. I promise you I'm not that person that is always complaining. But my sleepless night. Oh my God. And I mentioned, I wrote in my book that sometimes your leaders are begging you, please sleep. Because when you don't sleep, you're such in a bad mood and you're
Yeah.
just spoiling everything. So
Yeah.
talk about it. Did you ever had that experience, especially when you're starting, micromanaging becomes something you really do a lot. So did you ever had that experience of micromanaging and how did you let go? We start with Dr. Renata.
Oh no, no. I work in pediatrics intensive care, so you need to have a level of micromanager, but it's not micromanager. It's trust. You have to trust in your team
Very.
because otherwise you don't know your work. So I think I, I used to say with my friends who are nurses too, we born leaders.
Yeah.
As soon as our first job, we are a leader already. We have a team to lead, and so I became a leader very young in my life and with a lot of responsibilities because when I was in Amazon, I was the leader of the team and I was the only woman. I was much younger than them. I never been to Amazon before, so if there was something in the jungle, they should save my life because I didn't know anything. I couldn't survive them there. So it was a kind of leadership that challenged me a lot because it's not just the authority. I have a college and you don't, and I know what is this and but a kind of relationship we build in a team that everybody is important and as important to make this mission. That's why I said the importance for me as a leader, as a CEO, it's like always bring the north, why we are here, what is the focus. Otherwise, you're going to see a lot of conflicts, micromanage, whatever you want to call, but they are all distraction. Like when you bring the team again, like, do you remember why we are here? So this is not our focus, and I think it in some way was easier for me because the mission was always very clear. So in a more effective way, we are going to be better prepared to save lives, to improve people's conditions, and do this kind of things. So working in companies and universities get me very lost because it's a lot of distractions. Like, what are they doing? It's yeah. And I think when you don't have this clear, there are
Mm,
a lot of space for
yeah.
this conflict, micromanage, gossip, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think it's yeah.
Yeah. I'm
That's
with you.
it for me now.
Megan, please tell us your point of view about this.
So I completely relate to what Renata is saying. That situation, what they typically would call um, too too many chiefs, too little Indians. Just so many people wanting to be in charge and so many people wanting to do that big thing, but nobody actually wants to do the functional work on the ground.
Mhm.
And I must admit that being in not necessarily only a CEO role, but a management role, because I was in a sales management role late in my 20s, in my early 30s already. And so, it started quite early for me as well. And the big thing is you need to find yourself in that space. It's really important to do that. And I'd love to think that I was a really good manager, maybe not as experienced as some others, older and that had been there longer, but I've always been a relationship builder. And so for me, it's a thing about I would much rather sit and chat to my people about other stuff because I know that other stuff is important to them too. And then, after an hour of chatting, I'd bring it back and go, okay, we need to now focus. But the point is that it's not only about your organization and your vision. to go there. You have to understand that all your people, all the people who support you and who are in your organization, they are people, they have lives, they have other interests, they need escapes from that, as do you. And so this business, this new business organization with the NPO for me, is such a better experience for me, because my first previous business was just 24/7, chop, 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 working, working, and just like not looking around, blinkers on, just doing it 24/7, right? And after 5 years, it was like, okay, I'm done with this now. This is not the kind of fun that I was expecting. And then you realize that you are the person in charge of that, and how you make that happen is what other people who are watching you see. And so when I want to be the role model for my youth, for example, in my NPO space as an entrepreneur, I don't want them to see the 24/7 working philosophy, because that's not the ideal, and that's not realistic, and it's not sustainable. But you also need to get across to them the realistic nature of what they're getting into, whatever it is. And so you have to be able to be real and authentic, and really show them the good, the bad, and the ugly in all the situations, right? It's not a bowl of flowers every day, and it's certainly not difficult every day. Some days we have total fun, right? And you guys clearly would agree with me that some days are just like a total blast. It's like, I was born to do this, and tomorrow you cry in your hands, right?
Yes.
That's the nature of the space we in. And I think it's really important for you to know how you want to put yourself out there, for
Mhm.
you to know if you're prepared to be that role model in that space,
Mhm.
and therefore stepping into the management or CEO role, and really putting that out there, being that person that shows other people this is a good way of doing things, or this is where you might want to start your journey. So I think it's really important just to know the essence of you, and it's something I will always come back to, because if you don't have that, um, you don't have direction yourself. So it then becomes so much more difficult to lead
Mhm.
others.
Yes, I definitely
Mhm.
love what you said, Megan. You talk about finding yourself in that position, which is something that happened to me personally. I can talk about this. Is that I was micromanaging for like 1 year.
Mhm.
That was sleepless night, too many sleepless night, because I was doing my masters at the same time, having full jobs, like two full-time job and one part-time job, on top of me managing an NGO and then doing the master. I was so stressed
Wow.
because of sleepless nights. I was not stressed because the job was stressing me, but because of
Yes.
like I wanted to know everything, what is going on, what is going on. Then I crashed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So after I had that 2 months, thankfully it was during summer break. When you crash during summer break, like, you're
Yes.
crashing is the summer break. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to think about like other things. So I put a stop on it, and I was like, for my own life, if I want to live longer than 40 years, better
Yes.
stop this, or else I'm gonna die young. Like this is
Yes.
killing you inside. And so I started putting in place what Renata talked about, trust. If you don't even trust yourself, how will you trust others? So I started, and I remember
Mhm.
I started talking about this, working on myself. I talked about it a lot, that I'm working on myself. I'm working on myself. And as soon as I started working on myself, I started building trust in my leaders. I started giving them more availability to input their own creativity.
Yeah.
And I was amazed of what they brought out. Like they brought
Yeah.
out this amazing program, they brought out this amazing thing. I was like, I wouldn't have done this if I was still micromanaging. This would have never happened. So
Yes.
since I allowed that space, the NGO was going from places to places, from countries increasing, events were going on. And I was like, the truth is, I have no input in this.
Yeah.
I didn't have to talk too much. I just had to say, bring up your creativity, and I was like, wow, leadership can be easy if you trust people.
Yes.
You don't want to be in their business every single moment, and better if you have people that are trustworthy, have
Yes.
integrity. Is that as soon as you input that trust in them, they bring you back triple. of what you
Yes.
input. And we did trainings to empower leaders. That was just amazing. So micromanaging, guys, is a virus in leadership.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do that.
I
If
love
you're
that.
doing that, I am asking you now, breathe, because it is destroying you more than what you think it is doing. So
Right.
before we conclude this topic, what is an advice that you can give to a leader right now, not only a CEO, somebody that's envisioning to be a CEO or a leader out there that is going through some challenging, because we know being a CEO or being a leader in general in any position is not easy because we are dealing with human beings. And what is one advice that you can give so that they can make their ride smooth?
Smooth, nothing.
Smooth. You can help.
Was that the trick
I was
question?
paying attention on the question, and I was like, okay.
Smooth. No, so it can make the ride a little bit easier. It's
Yeah.
not easy, but you make it easier. It can
Okay, so
make it a little bit smooth, you know. Yes, Renata, please tell us.
they cannot lie.
There's
Yeah,
the integrity showing up.
yeah. She said, I can't lie. It's difficult,
Yeah.
but let me tell you one thing.
Oh,
Tell us one thing.
don't say difficult. It's a learning process. It's
It's a
going to be
learning process.
easier, I think.
Yes.
I think that micromanager said it's the beginning. The beginning, you think you can do it, and then you realize, oh, it's a waste of time.
Yes.
So it's a learning process.
Yeah.
But to learn that, a lot of people have to pass through this phase.
Yes.
Some people stay in this phase. That's so true too. but,
Yes. They
but
do.
the idea is okay, go to the next. Don't so stop doing that because yeah, if you want to burn out, micromanaging is a great recipe.
I'm
It
telling
is
you, it is.
true. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But trust and communication, have an open door, I think. Learn how to listen. No, it's another learning process. We don't born like as a learners how to listen.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's a process. Learn how to listen also, not what people say, but the signs. The yeah, have a
That's a really
big picture in mind. I think this is very important,
Yeah.
very important.
thank you.
And also when the challenge come, think about the focus. What do you want? What is your goal? Like, don't waste a lot of times with distraction because some distraction can delay you to accept an offer, to delay you to grow, to delay you to do a training, no, keep on focus. I think that was something that I learned in my life, and difficult times is part of the process. So
Yeah.
you have to go for the next.
Right.
Thank you so much. What about you, Megan? What is one advice you can give to a leader
Wow.
listening to us today?
I've got a few rolled into one year. So the first part of it is absolutely like stay grounded. Just know who you are, know why you're doing this, know why you're here and what you're doing in that space, right? And then the other thing is that you need to remember that it's about that relationship, it's about that connection, it's about you being in a place where you can help others move forward and grow. It's not just about you making money or you growing as a person or a CEO. You are in that position for a reason, and it probably is to help other people grow. And so it's really important to remain grounded in that because ego doesn't work very well in that space at all. If you walk into a CEO space with ego, it will get crushed very quickly. But aside from that, it's just not a good place for it to hang out because you need to be open and really open minded
Mhm.
in that role. And so step in there and just like let go of your preconceived ideas and just let other people also step into your space and add to your space, because your ideas might be great, but together your ideas can be greater.
So much better.
So always just, keep that in mind, and it's always for the betterment of everybody and not just one person. That's how I feel. So thank you. I think that's where I will leave it.
Thank you so much, guys, for sharing. And the one thing I want to leave with you guys is that leadership is a journey. CEO is a journey, and the best part of it is you enjoying every part of this journey.
Okay.
And make sure you grow, guys. Don't stay stagnant because we always have room for growth. Thank you for
Yes.
listening to us and for on this wonderful episode. Thank you to our faithful listeners. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next episode. Goodbye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
We're crossing oceans, crossing skies, lifting each other as we rise. No more limits, no more walls. Together we answer the world's calls. World without borders, we are free, telling the stories of humanity. No more divide, we stand as one. Together, together, our journey's begun.